Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. An opponent for Tony Yoka for September has been confirmed in the form of Germany's Michael Wallisch, and Dave Allen will be returning to the ring in October in Newcastle. That follows his comprehensive loss to David Price a few weeks back. So I'll start with Tony Yoka first. So this is quite an interesting fight for Yoka, who's currently 6-0, so still very much in his prospect phase, but it's another half-decent name. And I know some people won't be too impressed with Wallisch, who obviously has had a couple of losses of late, but it's one of these sort of situations where Wallisch still has a little bit of name recognition. Yoka can probably get in there, do a few things, get a bit of work away, get some experience, and still probably beat him comfortably enough. So I'm not mad at the matchup for a guy who's currently 6-0, the former Olympic gold medalist from Rio. He had a year out. He fought Alexander Dimitrenko in July on his return from that 1-year ban for missing drug testing. And Wallisch, yeah, it's not the best opponent in the world, but we just have to keep our expectations in check. Yoka is still a work in progress in the pro ranks, so I'm not too mad at it. So in terms of his statement, so you can see here on screen, this is Yoka in the promotional poster and his statement regarding it. And it's actually more about Johan Duhaupas, because obviously the Yoka and Duhaupas fight, an all-French affair, has been talked about for some time now. And recently, Johan Duhaupas had said he didn't want to have it mid-year on Yoka's return to the ring just because he had a child on the way, etc. But he said he was more than prepared to have a fight later in the year. But that seems to be in doubt now, because there has been some reporting. See here on screen, this is from L'Equipe, Tony Yoka to face Michael Wallisch and then Christian Hammer. So this article details, and you can see here it's in French and I'm not going to translate it, but effectively it's basically saying after Wallisch it will be Hammer on December the 7th. And I think many people were expecting it was going to be Johan Duhaupas. And in terms of Yoka's statement on his social media, which I have translated, it says, "Here is the poster for my fight on September 28th in Nantes. I hope there will be many of you there because it is a big year. For those who wonder why the fight against Johan Duhaupas is not announced as planned for December, know that I have word and that I do what I say. I want to box him on December 7th at the end of the year, as he has been asking for months in the media. He promised. If this is not done, you will know why." So we'll have to see where that goes in terms of what kind of feels like a bit of a passing of the sort of torch in terms of the old veteran in Duhaupas, who's obviously contested for a world title, came up short, and then you have the young buck and Yoka, who's on the come up. And I think most of us would probably pick the lengthier, rangier guy in Tony Yoka, who's more skillful than the sort of very durable Johan Duhaupas, for Yoka to win that fight when they do meet. I think Johan Duhaupas has been on the slide, and for some time. It's probably one of those sort of fights at the tail end of Duhaupas's career where he gets a decent paycheck and probably not much else. In terms of the Wallisch fight, yeah, that's okay. I think Tony Yoka is going to come through that pretty handily enough. I think Wallisch is also at that sort of point where he's had a couple of losses now, and really he's just trying to cash in on the sort of value that he still has left in terms of he can be a name for an up-and-coming fighter, but still get, paid okay. And bearing in mind, he only got 20 grand to face F.A. Jagba a few months ago. So, I mean, hard to say how much he'd be getting for this fight, but yeah, I was surprised when that figure came out that he only got 20 grand to face a Jagba. I thought that was very short money for a fight, of that sort of level of danger. But I guess for some boxers, when there is not too many opportunities out there, that might actually be quite a decent sort of payday to take on. But once you minus a camp and trainers, all sorts of other factors, there's not a lot of money left from 20 grand once you've run through a full camp and all the preparations you need to make. So here's hoping that Wallisch is getting a little bit more for his sake for this fight. But Wallisch, Yoka, yeah, that's an okay fight. But I think Tony Yoka is going to win that one comfortably enough, and probably by stoppage within half a dozen rounds, maybe even sooner. To the next thing, so David Allen, he will be on a card in Newcastle, a matchroom card called Bad Blood, that's being headlined by Robbie Davis Jr. and Lewis Ritson, October the 19th in Newcastle at the Utilita Arena. Sorry if I've got that one a little bit botched there, but he is returning, and who against? Well, we just don't know yet, but that will be his first fight back after his comprehensive loss to David Price. That was back in July, I think it was. On his Twitter, you can see here on screen, he's saying it will be an 8-rounder against a half decent opponent. And also further down on his Twitter feed, he's also sort of referenced some concerns that people may have for him. I understand that and appreciate those that genuinely care. My medicals are all clear, and contrary to what some may think, I'm a smart cookie and I know what I'm on with. Believe me. And another tweet here, he says, many people negative about me coming back and back so soon, but I know the 10,000 at the arena October will go mad when I walk out and found nothing yet in 27 years to match the feeling. That's David Allen talking on his Twitter account. And I guess, yeah, after such a comprehensive sort of battering at the hands of David Price, which most people didn't really expect. I think a lot of people thought it would be competitive and that actually Dave Allen may win that one because Price has come up short so many times and you just don't know what to expect with David Price, and would he be able to, last more than about 3 or 4 rounds and before gassing. But obviously Dave Allen didn't really present anything that put him under pressure. He was able to box in a relaxed manner, David Price that is, and really comfortably enough just sort of outpointed him and really tattooed his face with the jab and nailed him with a lot of heavy shots, especially later in the fight. Dave Allen ultimately had some oxygen that was given to him in the arena, then taken to hospital as a precautionary measure. But on TV, you see some of these images, and it was a confronting sort of image to see him in some distress. But obviously, that was just a precaution. He's saying he's good to go. And some of what happens next for Dave Allen, I just wonder about. He's obviously saying that people are going to go mad for him. But I kind of think that maybe some of his popularity has maybe just come off a little bit of the high that it was on. Heading into that fight with Price, I think maybe we'd almost reached peak Dave Allen in terms of the comeback sort of story. Going from almost a year ago to almost retiring and then going on a bit of a run of, 5 fights where he won. Some of them were, sort of wars like the Bracamonte one. He stops Samir Nebo and Lucas Brown with devastating body shots, but then he comes up short against David Price. I think there will come a time where people will not be as jazzed to see Dave Allen, because obviously he is, for most people, a bit of a card filler sort of fighter, and he did have the opportunity to headline earlier this year when he did stop Lucas Brown. After that Price fight, his level has really been established or confirmed. But I do think there is going to be a place for Dave Allen in the heavyweight division. Obviously, very popular sort of character on social media, very affable guy. People like to see him do well, and he came up very short in a fight. He was talking up, saying he was going to knock out David Price and then go fight Alexander Povetkin. And in hindsight, the talk of Povetkin, it does seem a bit laughable, but I guess, that was confidence that he had, that he felt that he was training properly, he was actually taking things seriously, and he felt that the sky was the limit. But, obviously the sky fell in for him against David Price. But I do like to see the guy do well, so good luck to him on his return. But what do you make of it all? David Allen making his return in October, Tony Yoka to face Michael Wallisch in September. Drop a comment. Loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.